Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As soon as we start this program, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues. We on RealFM 91.9 and 91.5. We on YouTube, Facebook page. We encourage you always to share our program. Like and share. As soon as you on social media, like our program, share our program. We encourage our callers to punch. You have 1 hour for this program. Don't waste time with preamble and reference. And your substantive point, make it first. Make your most important point first. Sometimes you don't have time to make the secondary point. Make your most important point first. Forget reference and preamble and just punch. We have 1 hour and we would like to have about 10 callers in the space of that hour. We provoke discussion. The time is not enough, so we provoke this discussion. We would like continuity in the discussion. Our number to call is 442-0175. We will try to read some of the messages on Facebook, or if you ask questions or you make profound statements, we will endeavor to read them. Today I am asking the National Insurance Scheme, NIS. It seems to me that based upon the policy of the NIS, you must have a cell phone in your name in order to collect sick benefit. I want you to understand that the National Insurance Scheme has introduced a new policy where people who go to doctor and they submit a sick leave, they must have a telephone in their name, a cell phone in their name to collect the sick benefit. I bawled when I heard that. I couldn't believe. I've had the opportunity to interact with several people who are affected. I asked the question, is NIS an agent of the telephone company? Is NIS an agent for the telephone company? What is the justification for this new policy? Should the people who work on government, and government workers are affected too, those that are not unionized, caregivers, agriculture workers, road workers, workers in the construction industry. I've heard some bizarre story. One individual went and bought a telephone. When he come back, they laugh. It just seems the telephone he buy could take internet. They say that telephone can take email address. You have to have an email address. The man went back to his friends to ask about email address. None of them have it. A girl tell him what is an email address. He mash up the phone. He was 1 month on sick leave. He mash up the phone. We have a number of individuals, the time pass. So by the time they get a cell phone, the time pass. Is NIS turning out to be a criminal body? Why is it? I ask this question over and over. Why is it these organizations that is filled with our children, our brothers, our sisters, turn against their people? Why should an individual who is sick, went to the doctor, got a sick leave, a sick leave, submit it that sick leave to the NIS. Sometimes with help from other people. And when to collect the benefit, NIS say you have to have a cell phone. You have to have an email address. Now, what percentage of our people in Grenada still do not have an email address? Why this is compulsory for NIS to give people the sick benefit? So a number of people walking away and they can't get the $150 or $200 or $300 because they don't have a phone. And some of them, by the time they get the phone, the time pass. Statue pass on it. Statue pass on it. How could we create these criminals among ourselves? Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Morning, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling you. Yes.
Thank you very much.
What is NIS is check NIS from behind. SIN. What that is?
Sin.
Right. So when you say the policy, do surprise. Have a good day.
You see, I always baffle because the people who run NIS is our own children, our own brothers and sisters. They went to university. They may have their master's and bachelor's degree, BA and big ass and more ass. Now, why is this education we have supposed to make life better for our people? You're supposed to try to make life better for your people. Even if you turn to a paperless society and everybody must have cell phone, there must be a transition period so the people in the lower income group do not suffer. They are not left behind. Today in Grenada, we have a very insensitive government that is hostile towards people in the lower income group, the elderly, the physically challenged, the Imanis, the caregivers. And it seems that all these organizations using the environment to take advantage on people. In 1990, when the government, because of economic situation, fired the people from government estate, a number of farmers in the private sector used that opportunity to get rid of the workers. The workers shed tears and went home. But at that time, the Grenada Maritime and Mental Workers Union was too weak. They did not represent them. The NDC is in power today again. And it seems that organization after organization is using the present level of insensitivity to take advantage on ordinary people. When you all push people like that, some of them are going to lose it. Imagine a sick person cannot get the benefit. Sometimes it's $150. A lot of workers doesn't sick for long unless they have some terminal problems. Have a 1 week, they get a damage, you get a cut. They may take sick leave because they're pregnant, stay home for a week or two. The employer don't pay them. And when they go back to work now, they have to battle between days off. I was on sick leave, I come back to work. You want time off now to go and look for a phone to establish your email address. Some of them don't have the knowledge about that. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, happy independent, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, but boy, in a time of independence, they call for unity. And I understand they give a man a dismissal letter in hospital bed. Well, I don't understand. You're calling for unity, and I don't know if he's the last victim or if he have recently that happened to others recently. But I heard a put on the radio that the man says his nephew get fired. They give me 5 months. And in his sick bed, you go think about doing that, and then you call in and say, let's unite. That thing is strange. That thing hard to digest. So the people what they on top, they pretending that they know, and people say, look, I don't think they know about that. They know because if this thing continue happening from Carrick come down, why don't they keep finding people, and nobody will address them. Nobody does nothing, and then you still saying the prime minister don't know about. Well, how you say they don't know about all this thing continue happening? As I say, the people in Grand Barrier State and all the people, and they still say that means he's not in charge. They are asking who is in charge. They are talking because if you're in charge, most of them step down and say, no, I didn't campaign for that. No, I didn't campaign for that. So take care, Mr. Pierre, and have a good day.
Yes, scholar. I've heard a number of people said that people calling for unity. The government of Grenada has never called for unity. The government of Grenada is a fractious government that advocates restorative justice. Look at the language that emanates from the top hierarchy of the NDC. Classless people, nasty people, commoners, good people. This is the language that comes from the nuclei of the NDC. The Prime Minister himself, beggy, and classless. The Minister of the Legal Affairs and Labor, greedy and needy people. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, good people. The Minister of Agriculture, lunatic and idiot. The Minister of Health, mad black woman. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good evening.
Yes, my brother.
The two most prominent people in Grenada had a photograph in Happy Hill Day. And you know, these people and them come and they just paint it up. A picture of Eric Gary and Kit Mitchell. The two most prominent persons that make the grade in Grenada, the two most important men, you know. You paint out the two people. I could never believe that a person could stand up there and see the paint out Gary and Kit Mitchell. Kit Mitchell worked hard in this country. He worked very hard to build Grenada. Kit Mitchell make wonders in Grenada. Gary fight for independence for Grenada. He did it under mass and torch. Why we so mischievous and wicked? The two most prominent persons in Grenada, man. We putting it back, and I say we going to put it back. We have to put it back. Thank you so much, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, I constantly hear the NDC has never asked for unity. They never requested unity. They never look for unity. It's people that saying about unity, not NDC. You might hear a little word come from their mouth because people look at the NDC policy. It's a fractious government. They have gone after the people in the lower income group. That is the target group. Ask the Prime Minister, the nurses that he promised, the nurses he promised to make permanent, ask him if he making them permanent. Ask him those that are 10 years and above if he make them permanent. He promised to raise the salary of the minimum wage. Ask him if he raised the salary of some caregivers that are working 5 years now. And he raised the salary of some. And what is hard, when a woman mother, you remove her from the $500 and give her $3. And you refuse to remove that, raise that individual pay. And the perception is that her blood is green. And you provide no explanation it's easy for one to believe that MIT has identifier. If the government has a problem in raising the pay of all the people they promised to raise the pay for because of logistical or bureaucracy problems, say that. Say we have some logistical and bureaucracy problem, so within 3 months it would be settled. So even if you did not get your pay raised automatically, give us a 3 months period. And after the 3 months, call 0000 and we will address it. That is how genuine people do things. Then nobody can accuse you for playing politics. As it is now, people are watching who get the pay and who don't get it. And then some people say, well, they believe my blood is green because my brother name is Mitchell and my brother name is this or that. Or they told me I should have voted NDC. You don't want your country to be so fractious. And the NDC is the chief architect of division in our country. And I don't even understand why they're doing it. I can't even see the political justification for doing it. Is it so deeply ingrained in the DNA that they cannot understand? The people you are going after are people in the lower income group. They are not represented by trade union. And they panic quickly, you know. Some of them would not call our program, and we encourage them not to call it. But you will shock to know the amount of them that will come to you through second persons or directly, because they're afraid they're going to lose their job. Like the workers in Mount Rule Estate that didn't get a Christmas bonus, the Christmas saving, but they shut them out. They stay quiet. Why is it the NDC continue to do that? And I ask this question over and over, and you know I've even called names of individuals I believe that have influence on this group of people. Like Mr. Tillman Thomas and Franca Bonadine and Nazim Brock and William Joseph. To counsel them, advise them, let them know the fracture in the country is going to come back to haunt them. I have not heard any justification for restorative justice. And when I see its workability on the ground, it is political victimization and political vengeance. And then the Prime Minister's favorite outburst, beggy. And then you have organizations like NIS implementing program as if NIS is an agent for the telephone company. I would have liked to call on the unions, you know. That is the right people for me to call on. Because the trade union have 2 representatives on the board of NIS. They have 2 representatives on the board of NIS. But I guess it's not the members that are affected. In some countries and in Grenada in yesteryear, trade union leaders used to represent the unrepresented. They used to say a word for the unrepresented. But this group, it seems as though they're going where the money is. So the trade union, the TUC, nominate 2 members, I believe. Either 1 or 2. I believe it's 2 members they have on NIS board. So how the TUC could agree with a policy like that? I'm absolutely certain that the majority of teachers in this country have relatives that fall in the lower income group that don't know much about cell phone. They don't have an email address. Some of them might be the cousin or the brother and the sister. Now, why you who have the knowledge don't open your mouth and seek the interest of those who are crying out? Somebody is sick. They go to the doctor. The doctor doesn't care about you seek benefit. All you know, you give you money and he give you the paper. He don't care about you after. Sometimes I wonder if there is any difference between some of our doctors and some of our drug men. And perhaps the only difference is one have a legal license to perform. When our society reach like that, then you will have dog eating dog. And I warn people, even if you live in gated communities, if the country's social fabric starts to deteriorate, you will not live in peace. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, I don't understand this thing with the NIS. Mr. Have a lot of people who haven't got a cell phone. And Mr. Pierre, if you're not well and you went to the doctor and they give you a 2-day sick leave, you have to have a cell phone to get a number for you to get a benefit from NIS? No,
Yeah.
Mr. Pierre. So much I think going on in Grenada now, and nobody's not saying nothing. When NIS gives you something, you can't even buy the medication. You still have to put it to get the medication. So you have to buy a cell phone if you haven't got one for you to get a benefit from NIS. That is out of the question. Have a good day, sir.
Well, when some people calculate the cost of the cell phone and what the benefit they get in, they say they don't bother him. And the people who are affected the most by that is the men, you know. A lot of the men just giving up, they don't bother. There are a lot of people who work in the agriculture sector, the construction sector, the informal sector, the cottage industry that pays NIS, but they don't have a cell phone. And even if they have a cell phone, they don't know nothing about email address. One guy told me, well, by the time he succeeds, they tell him the time up. So he didn't get his money again. Now, my biggest question is why our own people, the people in NIS is your children, you know, your cousins, you know, the union representative on the board. There are 2 union representatives on the board. These individuals walking around town as if them is talky cock. As if morality drip from their face. And they're tricking the ordinary man. Why is it the national insurance scheme is doing that? Why? Even if they believe that all Grenadians should use cell phone and data, there must be some time limit set out for that. You have to come and say that publicly. That if you are paying NIS, you must have a cell phone and an email address. And perhaps even able to assist people in the transition period to set up an email address. An individual tell me he sent an ask his brother for a phone away. The brother sent a bad phone give him. He give it to a girl to see how she could put her email address. He tell her, well, just work it out. You can't bother with all this thing in the head. So just do things fine. And when he have problem, you come to her back with the phone. The girl say, Lord have mercy. And she says, it's an expensive phone, the brother said. Now, why is it National Insurance Scheme is taking advantage on people like that? There are some instances where employers are paying the NIS, but the names of the workers are not readily registered because NIS changed the method of accepting the names. And you have to send the name online. And the employer know he ain't there online. So he makes sure he pay for 15 persons. But the names of the 15 persons don't reach down to NIS. Or next time he pay for the 7 that work with him. And because of that level, record keeping could be scant. And people depend a lot on memory. It's not a big form that you have personnel department. The employer must be working with the information in his brain and in pocket. And since you do not accept the name readily, and he has to format it to send it on online, and he is not literate about online, months could pass and names are not submitted. So when you seek, there is no name. And when you retire, the NIS receive the money, but there is no name. You all are bandits. This is what you qualify to be bandits. You see, when a man thief a blogger, he grab some money in the street and run. We brand him badly. When a man add a knot in the end, I refuse to submit your name so you can't get your benefit. You honor him. And this is the challenge we have in our society. And I say all these things are contributing to social decadence. We shouldn't look far. I always believe some of the crimes in Trinidad is as a direct result of the policies of the government and the insensitivity of the system. Likewise, Jamaica and the other Caribbean countries. We have done well, but we have a government that is insensitive. And every time the NDC comes in power, a lot of people use that opportunity to practice this level of insensitivity and concern and lack of compassion. They show no empathy. And people in the lower fabric of our society are the ones to be most affected. So I call on the trade union leaders. You are on the board, you know. Don't pretend you don't know. You know. You are members on the board. It's not the workers in NIS. They're just obeying instruction. We have an attitude in Grenada going and cost the frontline workers. The frontline workers is not responsible. They obey the orders. If you want to go after somebody, go after the manager. Go after the director on the boards. Go after the politicians because they know, not the frontline workers. We say we go and give them a good cussing. But they are the frontline workers. They just obey the policies of the government. I don't know if we're going to have an influx of people from the diaspora. I don't know if there are diaspora policy that when they have to get sick benefit in America and England, Canada and Frankfurt, that they must have a cell phone. You're going to see foreigners in Grenada. You're going to see our brothers and sisters from America and Canada in Grenada. Ask them if they must have a cell phone in America to get sick benefit. Maybe there is an American policy they bring in there. A Frankfurt policy. It can be a Cuban or Russian policy. We have more phone in Grenada and Cuba and Russia. So maybe it's American or Canadian or Frankfurt or Europe policy. So the government set a lot of store by people in the diaspora. You see, they're paying to bring them down. I understand some of them, they pay in the guest house and all. Because the government have a lot of money, 22.5 million for independence. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, afternoon.
Yes, caller.
Mr. Pierre, I listened to the Minister Andrew in a meeting where he said that the people asked him about what the Haines people say when they elect them government they're going to pay late. And he said to them, don't be what here. We know how to find money and we will not pay late, we will pay all it. I'll be paying all it. Mr. Pierre, when you look at the situation in the country, there are some people working who are getting more than the 20 and the 15 till month of the same month they get paid. Alright? And that's a trend that happened whenever NDC government. Okay, remember 2008? It was a constant trend that under the previous government in 2008, people always get money late. I know if the winning government opposition they want to govern, but when they give me the opportunity to govern, they can't govern. Right? They can't govern. I'm just remember the Prime Minister said that he has 16 constituencies. So I don't know if he going in 16 constituency, if it is in diaspora, and making policies up there, and the policies that they made up there, it is for all the 50 other 15 constituencies. So we celebrating Grenada independence, 58th anniversary of Grenada independence. And this is the time where people should come together, and we are more divided under this government. Instead of the government trying to bring people together, they bring a widening the division that was there. And also, obviously, government is someone that should reach out and encourage people. Let us come together to build. When you see the government this government talking about let us come together to build. But what they doing is totally opposite. They dividing and they separating. That's my...
Yes, I think Grenadians are deceiving themselves if they believe NDC is an inclusive government. Tobias Clemens said, the National Democratic Congress is not an inclusive government. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, my brother.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy the weekend with all these shows and things you're getting. Food shows. Mr. Pierre?
Yes.
Those people and them, they condemning the food show. They say there shouldn't be no food show. The poor and vulnerable, they have a chance to go and enjoy themselves with something. Let people kick against that. They don't want no food show. I don't want to go down with them. Mr. Pierre, the NDC people, they're cleaning the road. They helping clean the road and clean up the road. Them NMP people stay in the yard stay in the home, they stay with Vanda, and they're watching them people clean the road.
They damn right. They damn right. It's them you fire. It's them that you fire. You remember you fired 31 workers from Grenada Estate? 10 workers. They're right. They're right.
Mr. Pierre,
Yeah.
they sit down and they're watching them people clean the road. They're asking them and they don't come in.
Well, they get money. What we are hearing is that all these little group get some money, but they don't want to share the money with the NNP and they want them come up free. But they say all the little group,
well, let us say
one man get $1,000 to make an oil down. You don't hear that?
That's you're saying.
Did you hear that?
That propaganda.
Well, yes.
That's your truth, and that's not the real truth. You have to.
Well, tell us, all right, caller, tell us the real truth. Tell us the real truth.
The real truth is a lie. That's the real truth.
I like it. I like it. You see what happens when, caller, put a little joke aside. You see what happens when speculation is running wild and government is not coming up with answers. So the government have to come up.
Are you just going about and just saying all kind of things? And the government must just say, you lying about that?
All right,
what you want the government do?
Okay.
Do the government do nothing but what you want to do?
Well, they damn right to stand up in the front and watch all you do work. All you get money. Don't you all get thousands of dollars to organize the cleaning?
When you stand up on the Nevada and you want to do it, don't complain.
No, we pray.
They don't clean your gap.
We prayed for them.
You want to clean your gap. You the Nevada and you're watching them and you want to clean your gap and they ask you to come and help. And you go,
well, they get money to do it.
Well, leave your
they get $1,000. One man get $1,000 to make all down.
Don't clean your gap. Don't clean your gap. If you're the Nevada and you're watching them clean your gap and you don't want to help do it, leave out your gap and go somewhere else.
All right, okay.
That's my thing about that.
Yeah, well,
good day.
Yes, man, thank you. Well, if the people here, you get money. Who get 10,000? Who get 15,000 based upon the area? Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, I think that we might be upgrading or developing a tongue in St. David just now. I hope you remember to involve former Minister Joseph has been the one responsible, really, for developing St. David into a city, into a town right now. So whenever you would have been ready to name the town in St. David, don't forget to remember former Minister Oliver Joseph in developing that area in St. David as a town.
That is wishful thinking. Yeah. Honestly, don't expect the NDC to do something like that. If the NDC could forget Uncle Gary, you expect them to study Oliver? No, they won't do that. NDC don't make up so. They don't make up so. And people must remember Tobias Clement. When Tobias Clement said that, I wait about 3 weeks before mention that again, no member of the NDC disassociated themselves with that statement. If the opposition leader at the time accused a party for not being inclusive and nobody objected to it, then one could assume it is true. Just as the only reason advanced for the Prime Minister of Grenada not occupying the designated place of abode is that he will be overlooking classless villages. After months, I realized the Prime Minister has endorsed the statement because the individual it came from is a normal messenger of the NDC. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Yes,
Pierre.
my brother, welcome.
How are you today?
Great, man. Good, man.
Well, today I want to say happy independence to Ms. Nadia Benjamin, Mr. Franklin Dolan, and Mr. Winston White. These are the last three bastions I can remember from the first cabinet of the independence. Ms. Nadia Benjamin was the first representative of St. Andrew Northwest. She's very active in the community. She has been helping the Maribor Hospital with medication, and they got an X-ray for the Maribor Hospital through her foundation. And today I want to remember Mrs. Nadia Benjamin for the contribution that she has made. And we know prior to the independence what she suffered. And so we must pay respect to these last three members of the first cabinet. Mr. Winston White was the first Minister of Youth, Sport and Culture in our country. Mr. Franklin Dolland, who then represented the Northeast, St. George, he had a very vibrant Calypso tent in the Bolio Catholic schoolyard, Calypso Rama, and many Calypsonians participated in national competition coming from that village. So today, I want to remember these three people who were in the first cabinet of Sir Eric Matthew Gary.
Nadia Benjamin, Franklin Dolland,
and Winston White.
And that's the three remaining alive.
Yes.
Yes. The others have gone.
They are still with us here in the flesh.
Yes.
And we must honor them, and we must remember them.
Yes. I think people have to understand that the National Democratic Congress is the government in power that directing the celebration. But don't expect the National Democratic Congress to do these things. You have to prepare to speak about these people so your children hear. Once the Congress individuals speak about these people, they would speak about them in the most derogative tone. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes. Good morning.
Yes, my brother.
Tell me now, you're forgetting somebody, you know.
Which one?
David Sylvester.
David Sylvester is not alive.
Huh?
No, he was dealing with the three people that are alive still.
Okay. Then.
Teacher dead. Yeah.
Okay.
David Sylvester, he was the Minister of Agriculture.
Okay.
And he did a very good job. But he's not alive.
Right.
Yeah. So we have to call these people. We have to speak about these people. We have to tell our children the history. We have to hold this discussion in the rum shop on social media. Don't expect NDC to do it. I listened to a projection or program or whatever name you call it. A skit or what? About Eric Gary. And I was so disappointed. They talk about Mongoose Gang. They say Eric Gary tell the Queen he's a badger and he could handle things. The most derogative things about Gary that was said. So anytime the NDC want to speak about Gary, they're going to come up with the worst things that they heard about him. And that is the National Democratic Congress. Don't expect them to change. This group is the purest form of NDC. They are vultures. A group of vultures that turn against the elderly, the physically challenged, disadvantaged children. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, you know, Independence time now and everybody celebrating, we're embracing the three colors, red, green and yellow, and everybody waving flags. But Mr. Pierre, you know, green does not like yellow and yellow does not like green. Thank you.
Yes, it's red, green and gold. It's red, green and gold. And we are one country. And I listened to a post from Linda Stricker. I did not hear it myself, but I believe it. I think she was referring to one of the Minister Osbert. I'm going to stop there. I don't know if it's Osbert James. One of the Minister Osbert James, I think. And he was asking for a country to cease and desist from being fractious. I don't think that was his very words. But a government, remember the government is a shepherd, you know. So even if followers of the government are making unsavory, despicable remarks, it must not come from the shepherd. What happened with the NDC, the Prime Minister of Grenada, the Attorney General, the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Health, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, they are the one that is coming up with the dismissive and despicable remarks and fracture in the country. So the political activists, which normally you political activists is warm-blooded, you hear they say, let a pong stone in the river, let it starve. Don't get them. But that is going on because the shepherd is saying that. So if we want to improve our unity call, it has to come from the shepherd. The Prime Minister is the chief shepherd. But if we believe that we are commoners and we are classless and is greedy and nasty people, then how do you, on the ground it would be worse? And I appeal to them because I've seen what happened after the revolution. Individuals just take it on their own and harass elderly people in the community. The other individual about 300 and something pounds in weight, over 6'6" tall. They tie his hand behind his back, put him on a Suzuki, in the back of a Suzuki, and drive him in the fast road. He was bouncing and capsizing. They said that is gay. They did that to women too in the community that was considered as good, respectful women and proprietors with businesses and shop. And they make fun of them. They laugh at them. Some of them beg them for water to bathe. And that was fun. I saw it again happen after 1983. Where people spit on people that they consider the Kodites. They treat them very badly. A number of people say, no, we have to reckon. This is not a time for vengeance. And government come up with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I think it was done under Keith Mitchell. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And that helped to cool down people to forgive. They say we have to live with one another, forgive. And some of the negatives of Maurice Bishop was not repeated. People say, forget it, let's try to live together. But then we have this group of vultures coming. And they wake up dark in sleep. They introduce restorative justice. And they start to use the most nasty and objectionable and despicable terminologies to describe ordinary people. So Osbert James, the minister, is correct. When things come from those in the top echelons of society, it's more impactful because they are policy makers. So we have to call on them. We have to beg them to discontinue the practice. Give us a call. The number to call is 442-0175. Give us a call and express your views. Yes, as we come to the end of our program, we have opportunity to take another call. So you could give us a call and express yourself, and we make a special appeal to the NIS to give us some explanation. Why is it necessary for people to have a cell phone in their name to able to collect the monetary benefit? We begging NIS and anyone in Grenada who have influence on these bright people. Teachers, you are the brightest people in the country. The people with the group with the most general education are teachers. TUC, why is it the NIS policy now dictates that you must have a cell phone to collect your sick benefit? Whose interest the NIS is seeking? Please tell us. Is somebody in the NIS getting a money from the telephone companies and they're using it to help to expand the sale of telephones? I don't trust you. Some of the things you're doing don't make sense. So I'm worried. Are you an agent for the telephone company? You see the Prime Minister in Grenada have deep pockets and contact. And we see money passing. 160,000, it is alleged, went to number 10. The cabinet minister at the Meat office, they claim he get 100,000. Plus he is not losing pocket. When you introduce this policy in the country, you send morality, as the Prime Minister say, is a private thing. Morality is a private thing. So you're making a corrupt society. Is somebody in NIS working with the telephone companies and using the weak and unsuspecting to enhance the coffers? It's important for us to know. The government, the individual talk about beautification. And we understand the government have little groups giving money. But that money is for a few. It's only a few the money for. So they're trying to see if they could get others to do the beautification. But they won't give the medical stations. Because the public officer, they don't trust them. They won't enhance or beautify the medical stations. They won't give them money for that. That is what you should do. Run the beautification process around the medical stations and the schools and etc. And then you might get more people volunteering to help if they see the nurses are involved. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, Mr. Francis. How are you?
Great, man.
Right. So I've been listening to the program. This is Jelani Clean here.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to give my name because I can stand by whatever it is I say. You know, what worries me at this point in time is that it seems that, you know, I used to believe that we had a green and yellow problem here in Grenada. And what I've come to observe is that we have a Grenadian problem in Grenada. The problem, however, is what we like for ourselves, we often don't like it for other people. And what we don't like for ourselves, we like it for other people. So when we had the new National Party in government, we could have found every single thing, every single item, every single problem that is wrong in Grenada. And we, of course, could promote and leverage our voices and let it be heard so that I always felt in the interest we could move forward together. But now we have a government change, and the principle remains the same. Those who once felt that they were disenfranchised are now quiet as a mouse, and we can't hear them speaking out on any issue. And those who once were in positions of authority to some extent, and those who enjoyed benefits of the previous government, we sometimes find them now are the ones who are motivated to call it because they are the ones being victimized. So it seems to me is who is wearing the shoe that feels the comfort, and who is left with the bare feet are the ones who have to complain. But I will look towards independence as a time and an opportunity, no better opportunity, for us to pull ourselves together as a people and to try to advance as one. But to do so, we must do it collectively. And whereas we have the new National Party as a party who often shows consideration, in particular for the poor and the vulnerable, to ensure that we move forward together as one without leaving them behind or leaving them disenfranchised. We seem to have a government now that is more prone to the working class man, to create more opportunities for him and for those who support them, and forget whoever else. It doesn't matter if you are not Grenadian as well. But we all are Grenadians, and we must all have inclusivity. So when you make decisions, for example, like the one that is made with the NIS right now, so one would often like to think that if we are going to forge ahead, and maybe, with the improvement in technology and so forth, it creates a better, more efficient system to, have information moving. We have to understand there are also persons who are not with a cell phone, cannot afford a cell phone, cannot afford to put a plan on a cell phone. Because having the phone is one thing, but having the plan and so on it that is only able to be remain connected, it's another thing. And some person, even if they have the plan and they have the cell phone, they don't know how to use it. So before we could implement such a policy so rigidly, we must first, of course, give consideration to all of those things and put in necessary structures in place so that we could have these disenfranchised persons come up to speed and get the assistance that they need so that they too can continue receiving the benefits that they have justly deserved, right? So that's my contribution today. It's my hope that this government would take a look around, and I heard that there is a vision beyond 50 that's coming out in the Trade Center sometime later on this week. Whose vision is that? Is that the government's vision? Is that the people of Grenada's vision? Because I don't remember there being any consultation around St. Patrick in particular, where persons came together or asked to come together to share what they thought was a vision for St. Patrick 20 years from now, 10 years, 50 years from now. And therefore, if somebody has a vision for St. Patrick, I think it needs to be a shared vision.
Yes,
not just
Scholar,
your vision.
thank you very much. A nice way to end the program. We're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch. Thank you.